Well, in the meantime, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, says it has commenced an expanded investigation into pricing templates behind high ticket rates being charged by some airlines on some domestic routes. Undaje Jagu, the Director of Corporate Affairs of the Commission, said the investigation will establish possible violations of the provisions of the law. He identified routes where concerns had been raised over ticket pricing as the Southeast and South-South. I have Michael Achimugu. He's the Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection of NCAA, the regulator in the aviation sector. He joins us now in the studio for more on this discussion. Now we're focusing basically on the persistent, the incessant delays and cancellation of flights. And the figures that I have here, very troubling. Let me read it out for you. Welcome, first of all, to the show.
Good evening.
5,647 flights were delayed in December alone of 2024. No, actually, let me correct that. 5,647 flights by 11 carriers, right, in December of 2024. Out of the 5,000 or so flights, you had 3,000 flights delayed. That's 56% of total operations. 83 flights were cancelled within the same December of 2024. That's quite high, quite troubling. What exactly is going on? What's responsible for this? Is it regulatory failure? What do we ascribe this to?
Well, we've made it clear every year, that December we experience the highest volume of, disruptions.
Right.
And this is because of the hazy weather. It's a constant. Nothing can be done about weather, and then so we sensitize the general public in advance of December every year, Other than that, the only other issue will be the lack of capacity. The Honorable Minister has spoken about this most honestly, and so have we.
Lack of capacity on the part of the airlines, the operators?
Yes, there's no need denying this. There are not enough aircraft, and this is why the dry lease achievement is a big deal for us.
Right.
Thankfully, the Honorable Minister has been able to achieve that within 2 years. And this was something that our local operators lacked for over a decade. Recently, the first dry lease aircraft landed in Nigeria, and I was informed yesterday that 9 more will be coming in February. And so in 2026, we're going to have a much better, aviation experience for passengers, because the truth is the lack of capacity is a major problem. But for December, no matter how many aircraft we have, we will have disruptions because, safety is the #1 priority in aviation. And so we have a system designed now where even if it's just one bolt missing from the right spot, we'll cancel the flight because we don't want Sosoliso happening again. We don't want Dana happening again. Not under our
Air
watch.
safety definitely is the #1 priority. But when this, you say it's unavoidable that during December, during Yuletide, you'll have this kind of situation. But then again, in spite of that, there are no consequences when airlines delay flights. They don't really explain, to the flying public why the flights are delayed. And even when they explain, it's, it doesn't satisfy you as a passenger.
I don't agree
you
with
feel
this.
taken for granted.
Yeah.
Why are there no consequences, even for flight cancellations? When flights are cancelled, for example, passengers are stranded. The airlines don't provide hotel accommodation, as part of the Part 19 of the aviation law actually states that they should provide accommodation, feeding, just comfort, basic comfort.
I don't.
For
When
the
I hear
passengers. Why
no
is that
consequences,
not happening?
I don't agree with it.
Okay.
Because you see, in the history of civil aviation in Nigeria, for the first time in 2025 alone, we sanctioned 7 airlines, both international and domestic. I can mention them off the top of my head. Right? That's consequences.
What were the sanctions? How grave were these sanctions? In line with the, you know, seriousness of the
in the regulations,
right.
You see, what we do is my department recommends the sanctions. The legal does the framework, how much per infraction, right? Now, to the average passenger, maybe it's not heavy enough, you know, but we have sanctioned. We have done something that's never been done before. But beyond that, because look, the thing is, as a regulatory authority, we also want to be careful to balance things out, to ensure that because we know we lack capacity, we must strike a balance. If we overregulate domestic airlines out of business, you will not even be able to fly. It's better to have a delayed flight and still, you know, make your trip than to have no carrier to fly you at all. You want to travel by road right now?
In spite of the serious inconveniences to the
No, I'm coming to that part now. Now, talking about care, first let me remind you that this year we have achieved the highest volume of refunds on passenger tickets, passenger purchases in the history of our industry. We have achieved the highest volume of compensations and also hotel accommodation. Now,
are there figures to this?
Yeah, I don't have them off the top of my head. Right. Now, when you mention the care airlines owe passengers when disruptions happen, please let's make a distinction. Part 19 you quoted makes it very clear. Where is the fault of the airline? There will be ramifications. Where it is force majeure, how do you punish an airline because they couldn't fly because of due bad weather? When
it's force majeure, I'm sure the passenger would understand that it is beyond the control of the airline.
I can sit down here and tell you that majority of the disruptions are not caused by the airlines. And this is not even to support the airlines. It is the fact. When I was outside the industry, I didn't see this. Now I'm in the industry. I can see much better.
You're more sympathetic with the airlines?
Not sympathetic. Okay. I'm a passenger myself. I fly. I pay to fly. Right? Now, the airlines would most times would just announce due operational reasons or due tech. They wouldn't come to blame some other...
They won't give the details.
Yes. For instance, United, let me mention their name, experienced a bed strike a couple of days ago. That has caused a ripple effect of disruptions. Right? It's not the duty of the airline to provide itself with bed fighting, bed strike equipment. But the airline will not come and tell you, oh, this agency did not provide us with this and now we are struck. Now, this is not to say that the availability of that equipment totally eliminates bed strikes. Right. But the equipment needs to be there. Right? Sometimes it's that the carousels are not working. Sometimes it's that the scanning points are not enough. Take the first flights every morning, for instance. If every airline is doing Abuja-Lagos from within the 6:30 to 8 a.m. belt, right? All of their passengers need to pass through, say, 1 or 2 scanners at most. You count the number of passengers. There is a delay being caused there. Unruly passenger behavior. When passengers, like some of the United passengers 2 days ago, block the boarding gates, and other passengers on other airlines cannot fly, that's a delay being caused. Now, the airline is ready to fly.
And such misbehavior has consequences,
Of course. Of course.
And some would argue, so why are the airlines not, being punished for their own misbehavior? Because it doesn't seem to be balanced here. When the flying public misbehaves, they come down hard on them. But what is the NCAA doing to improve the capacity, of the aviation experience of the average Nigerian, both on the part of the airline, the operators, to improve their capacity to deliver, good service?
It's not the duty of the NCAA to provide aircraft to airlines.
Not aircraft. What? I'm talking about the capacity, as in the environment for them to thrive and deliver, whether they have few aircraft or not. It has nothing to do with the number of aircraft, but to provide a good flying experience to passengers.
Well, per our regulations, every airline is supposed to have a dedicated customer care desk to be available to, to mitigate these circumstances for passengers. What we have been doing as an authority is that we have, while bringing the airlines up to speed, up to par, right? What we have done is that we have we have immersed ourselves into the situation. Right. And that's why you find me and my team in the terminals addressing and educating passengers, right? Doing the jobs that airlines are supposed to do. We brought them to the authority yesterday and read them the Riot Act. I know there's going to be improvement, but while waiting for for them to improve, to catch up to where we are at the moment. We help them do these things. That they ought to
One
do.
of the reasons the airlines have, given for not, delivering the kind of service that Nigerians expect or deserve, is that there are multiple taxes, about 18 taxes. That's what they're claiming. How true is this? And how is it really
And
disturbing
any
their
domestic
services?
carrier operating domestic flights that says they are paying 18 is a liar.
Oh,
It's lying, yes.
how do you mean?
I heard this myself.
Okay,
It was part of the reasons why we summoned the airlines yesterday.
great.
And we spoke with them, we asked them, we have it on record. They admitted themselves that no domestic carrier pays 18 taxes for domestic flights.
Okay.
Anybody who makes such an allegation should be ready to prove it. I feel horrible. We understand that, the high airfares in this period, and it happens every December, right? It's down to market forces, demand and supply. And all. We make those excuses. But the truth is, even these taxes, let's even assume but not concede that there's 18 taxes.
Right.
Where those taxes increased recently, why is the price different in December?
That's a question you should be asking the airlines.
Are
you asking them those questions? Because we heard from the minister that, look, what will address the issue of, high surge in airfares during dirty December is competition. That's
yes, the minister is absolutely correct. He said this over and over. That's why I started by telling you it's a capacity problem. All of this back and forth, it's just a capacity issue.
All right, I guess we'll have to leave it there. Michael Achimugu, always nice to have you on Newsnight. He's the Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, NCAA. Please come back when things improve with customer care. Thank you very much for joining us, and compliments of the season.
Same to you.